Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday, April 26, 2017, and this is your Fun Fact of the Day. Today we are going to talk about generosity. Obviously, this is something that both of the sexes can and should possess this quality. However, a womanly woman is definitely generous. She reaches her hand out to the needy and opens her hands to the poor. There are many sayings regarding generosity. This is not just a Christian thing. It's not even just a religious thing. Most people in the world would agree that generosity is a good quality to possess. Again, this is a quality that looks super different in different situations. But the main example that comes to mind when you think of generosity is money. You give away your money to the poor. You give your money to different sorts of organizations. You're generous with your money. Generally, people think of money when they think of generosity. Now, this doesn't mean you're unrealistic with it. If you can barely afford to put, food on your table and pay your bills, you probably don't want to be just giving out your money to everyone. Not that you are number one important, but at the same time, you don't want your family to be suffering because you're trying to help other people. However, there are examples of people who give their money out of their own poverty. Generally, the people who are most generous with money tend to be the poor people. But if you have an abundance of wealth, it's also a great thing to give abundantly. The overall point with money is that you should be a cheerful giver when you try and help other people by giving it to them or different organizations or whatnot. When you give your money away, it should be cheerfully, not like, here you go. Now, there are other ways that are possibly just as, if not more important than money to be generous with. A big one would be your time. Have you ever had a relative in the hospital or in a nursing home or in just a general place that they're pretty confined? What do you think that relative would enjoy more? You giving them $20 or 20 minutes? Most of the people I know, so maybe I just have a different example of people, but most of the people I know would much rather spend time with people than to be given money by someone. Of course, everyone's grateful for money given in times of need, but generally what lifts spirits more is just spending time with them, listening to them, talking to them, being there for them. Now, for those of you who aren't super people persons, this is even more exciting for others when you come out and visit them and share your time with them, because most people will know whether or not you are a people person or you like leaving your house. So if they know that this person really doesn't like going out of their way, but they still came to see me, it treasures up in their heart and they feel so loved by that. Especially when they're in the hospital or a nursing home, because I don't really know anyone who enjoys going to those places. Very rarely do I hear someone like, yes, we're going to visit someone in the hospital. Normally it's like, yeah, so-and-so's in the hospital and we're going to go visit them and try to ignore all the smells. Because hospitals and nursing homes just don't smell the greatest. That's an undeniable fact and an unavoidable truth. When you go and visit these people, they know that you're not having the time of your life, but to them, that moment is so precious because they're stuck there usually. That's their life, and they have to live that. And to have someone to suffer with is so much better than suffering alone. There are so many places you can volunteer. You can almost volunteer anywhere. If you're a pet person, you can go volunteer at the local animal shelter, walk the dogs, pet the kittens. Most places will gladly accept help with taking care of the numbers of animals they have. You can go to a food shelter and help serve food. You can go to a nursing home and lead some sort of song time and play chess with an old person. You can go pretty much anywhere and volunteer and help lift people's spirits nowadays. There's so many opportunities for you to volunteer and be generous with your time. A third pretty obvious example of how you can be generous is being generous with your resources. Do you have extra room in your house? Why not host a family or bring someone over for mealtime or allow someone to live with you, whether it's a homeless person or someone who's only in the country for a few weeks or months because they're on leave from their missionary trip or because they're here on a student visa. Open that room to them. Do you have more pots and pans than you will ever need, even if you don't do dishes for a month? You can go give those away. You could give them to a family whose house just burnt down and they've already lost everything. You can go give it to Salvation Army. Post it on Facebook. There are so many resources to get rid of or give away and be generous with your resources nowadays. Do you enjoy pets? Is your house big enough for another pet? Adopt a pet. Do you know a family with a small child? If you don't, I really wonder where you're living, because I know so many families with small children. Why don't you volunteer to babysit for them for just a night so the mom and dad can go out and have a date, go shopping, just be away from the noise for 10 minutes? I mean, even if there's like 2 kids over the age of 10, you really don't need to do much. You can just let them go and play. And if it's a baby that's immobile, you don't have to do much. Do you have a bunch of books you will never read again just because you have so many other books? Start a book exchange, or put one of those like building list libraries outside of your house. I've seen them before. They're pretty cool. Someone put like a little box that, you put a book in, you take a book out. It's like a little library, but there's no library card, there's no late fees. Check your pantry often. If you have food nearing expiration, give it away. Or, give it to a food shelter or give it to a family in need. The point is, give it away before it goes bad. I mean, generally, if it's already close to expiration, you're probably not going to use it. So give it to someone who will. My point with all of this is that there are so many ways to be generous. You almost have to try to not be generous. And a womanly woman is overly generous. So go out, spend your money, your time, your resources. Just live your life with other people in mind. Use your life for the good of others. Ooze generosity out for others. And watch the world become a brighter place because of it. In other news, it is National Help a Horse Day. Go be generous to a horse with your help. Really know how a horse would need a help, but go and help that horse. It is also Administrative Professionals Day. Hope you've enjoyed this fun fact of the day. See you tomorrow.